Well, hello, everyone in our Race Matters class. This is Dr. Summer Carroll, and
Dr. Taylor Newton, you know us by now after spending all semester with us, right?
but you get us one more time. We thought it would be great to just put together just a little closing video. One, just to say thank you to all of you all who have tuned in each week, who have interacted with the course material on your own time. We got to give thank yous in our shared meal last week, but we wanted to make sure that we told each and every one of you how grateful we are that you spent time with us this semester, from the community members all across this nation, our students who are course credit seeking students here on the campus of Lenoir-Rhyne University. Our faculty members are just stellar, awesome, fantastic faculty members throughout our 3 campuses, as well as the many, many community guests who shared with us. Thank you so much. We are so much more wise and just filled as a result of the time we spent with you.
And it's, you mentioned our shared meal, which was our last class, right, Dr. Carroll, but we know many of you weren't able to come and join us for that either because the timing didn't work or because you weren't close enough for it to be convenient. We have a couple people out in California and Alaska. We're really salty that you didn't come all the way out to North Carolina, but that's okay. But it was a really good experience, that shared meal. Did you have the same kind of sense of closure, the drawing together of all of these ideas over conversation and breaking bread together, Dr. Carroll?
Yes, I think it was just great. I know the table where I spent most of my time, people just asked really good burning questions. And I like that there was just a sense of comfort and community that we felt comfortable saying just really what was on our minds and what was in our hearts and asking questions and sharing openly and transparently. And that's just what we were really hoping that this class would do for us, that it would bring people together and allow us to just be comfortable talking to one another and learning from one another and growing as a result. And we definitely got that at the shared meal. We did a little singing together. Dr. Loris led us in some communal singing. And so I think it was just great.
Yeah, I agreed. And one of the things that I really liked the most was, well, the singing was fun. He challenged us to add some creativity to this little light of mine by tweaking the verses. So that was a lot of fun. But also like you're talking about, Dr. Carroll, the vulnerability of those conversations, like that real kind of approach that it takes to really grapple with these difficult issues. It was really nice to get to do that with everyone.
Absolutely.
So
they can still access, right? We're going to tell them.
Yeah.
Not over if you don't want it to be over.
It doesn't have to be. So the way that we set up the class it was to make it available for the foreseeable future, which we hope ends up being in perpetuity. So like we just want this whole class and all of the materials to live on our course webpage and on YouTube, and it's there for consumption for whoever wants to continue learning from it or to pass it along to anyone. You can engage with it however you like. You are welcome to share those materials freely. We encourage you to. We'd love to see this class have an impact beyond just the semester. So please help us do that. And then I was going to ask you, Dr. Carroll, so now looking back over the whole semester, what struck you as like, what were our themes? What were the common threads throughout these 14 weeks for you?
I think for me, is we've chatted a little bit about this, the fact that 500 plus people enrolled, that usually between 50 and 100 people were logged on each week. And judging from just the course assignments and the reflective feedback we've gotten, there's a clear desire from people to learn, to talk about issues of race, and to grow in understanding. And so I think just based on some of the Q&A questions throughout the entire semester, I would say that that is a constant, and that's something I'll take away from this course, that it's not true that it's the elephant in the room that we can't talk about.
Right.
We do want to talk about it. And I think that another theme that we probably can identify is just how, yes, there's the historic piece of just race and racism, and how, you know, horrible things happened in the past in the name of racial superiority and inferiority. And many are quick to say, okay, well, that was in the past. There's no need to talk about it. There's nothing to think about anymore. But I think we learned in this course that even though it's in the past and continues in the present in some cases, there's just still an impact in some areas of life. I think we saw that a lot in the economic session, where we looked at just issues of redlining. And yes, we're not seeing that now, but the impact from when we saw it, we see it, you know. And so I think that's an important theme to say. We need to look at how the past is impacting the present, and what we can do to move toward more equitable and favorable outcomes.
Right. Yeah. That was something that struck me too. It's related. It wasn't, so it's the impact of the past on the present, but like how large that impact is. So we talk about systemic racism, and I think it was clear through the multiple disciplines that we engaged with throughout the semester, just how systemic racism is, just how many systems of power and influence racism has entered into. So economics, yeah, but like you're an educator, right? So we're both educators, but you're an educator of educators, and have like a special appreciation, I think, of how it's entered into our K-12 and beyond educational system. There are healthcare, mental health, physical health,
Health equities,
right?
inequities.
Cultural system, so like religion, we played around with music, storytelling, so like all of these many areas that racism has kind of insidiously snaked into in ways that are sometimes subtle and hard to see unless you have tools to see them from a particular perspective. I hope the students in this class feel like they have those tools now to see and understand these systems from that perspective, to understand who they privilege and who those systems don't privilege.
Absolutely. I think that the materials in this course definitely provide the tools that will allow for just broader understandings, deeper understandings, and also just some conversation starters to just begin conversations with folks that maybe you otherwise would not have had conversations with, or talk about things that you might not have otherwise talked about. So I think the tools are definitely there.
And those tools, so you talk about conversation, tools to kind of confront within ourselves and also beyond ourselves too. And conversations are a great place to start and furthering your understanding, but then finding ways to put what you know now into action. That's kind of the next step. Yeah.
And I think we've kind of, I think a good takeaway is that those next steps don't have to be, you know, grand policy changes. And I mean, it really is an individual thing. I think, you know, we always go back to our first class on, you know, history with Dr. McCombs, and she talked about just unlearning some things that we have learned that have not been very positive about different groups. And particularly also going back to even our biology discussion, where we learned that race is a social construct. And so we need to look at it through that lens, and stop, you know, dividing people based on the color of their skin.
Yeah, absolutely. And like those small things, what can that thinking about where you spend your money, thinking about how you have conversations with your kids, thinking about engaging with your community in intentional ways that help to address some of these systemic concerns. There's a lot that we can do, short of running for office and then putting policy into place or something like that. Although do vote. Part of your voice is your vote, for sure.
It's
you
a
have-
great course. Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much, and getting to teach it with you, Dr. Carroll, this was a highlight of my whole school year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Newton. My feelings as well.
Is there anything else that we wanted to say before?
I think that's it. We don't want to make it too long, right?
We have to respect their time.
Well, you all know how to get either Dr. Newton or me. You have our emails, and we welcome to continue to hear from you as you feel led or that it may be necessary.
Yeah, sounds good. You'll have a great summer.
Sure.